Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. I hear that the peasants are keeping you busy this week.
Yeah, it's been a week. We'll just say that.
It's been a week. Then let's see what the week is like in gaming. Let's begin with game news, and we actually have some this week.
We do. Exciting. A little teeny patch.
A little teeny patch, and does it bring any favor to us?
Oh, I see what you did there, Pineleaf. Well played, sir. 2 points for Pineleaf.
2 points.
For those of you keeping score. Yes, update 41.3.1. Released today, as a matter of fact. Not a lot in here. I think the biggest thing that kind of piqued my interest was the racial action point tomes that are purchased from the DDO store are now bound to account instead of character. That's handy. Hence, you can share them with your characters, people. Yeah, that's nice. So that's a good thing. And then, as Pineleaf alluded to with his well-timed joke, players who earned enough favor to unlock a tier reward added in Update 41.3 will now retroactively receive that award. So yay for that. And also, the Purple Dragon Knight favor will now award at its proper tier.
Mm-hmm. I could just imagine if you said, "Why do I work so hard to get that level and I don't get the reward now?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because I got it before.
Exactly. So yeah. So if you might want to check that, because you might have some favor rewards awaiting for you when you log in. Also, the Tendon Slice now will properly display its enhancement on items. Yay, I guess. And then a few things for a couple quests in Framework. This has to be one of the funniest patch notes in a while. The Minotaurs are now curious enough to open gates for strangers under certain conditions. Their chieftain, however, has decided he will no longer leave his keep. Okay. And also in Friends in Low Places, they fixed an issue with crest placement. And that's it. That is update 41.3.1 release notes.
Then let's head into the Chronicle for this week. And it looks like looks like they are trying to iceboard.
Yes, that is part of the Rizia Ice event, which is now running. This is your last weekend for that, by the way. So if you want to partake in the Rizia Ice Festival, you best do it before the end of this weekend. The event ends February 17th. So go. Slide off the ramps, get the coins, all the fun stuff that you do.
And somehow stay on your feet?
There's that. It's a acquired skill.
Well, I'd probably get killed before I acquire that skill.
Also, in the Chronicle, our community spotlight section, Amador is creating a new web-based quest tool. And what this is going to be, he says about this, it's an attempt at writing a small web application to list the quest and the sagas of the game. He's targeting this for mobile devices. More functionality will come later. This is just in its early build phases. So if you want to check that out, there is a link in the Chronicle to get that and run that. I have not tried it yet, but always cool to see people making new DDO things out of the game.
Now, I was thinking it was pronounced Amundir, but
sure, why not?
Ooh, all right.
We've been over this. I pronounce names wrong. It's what I do. It's fine.
Okay.
But sure, that makes more sense than what I said. So I'm pretty sure you're right. So I butchered your name. I'm sorry, but then again, that's what I do. So at this point, I'm pretty much known for it, I think. So.
Okay. That'll be part of a Geico commercial soon.
Exactly. That's right. It will. Ooh, Pineleaf made a pop culture joke, people. What is this world coming to? Wow. Wow, yeah, you impressed me. I'm rightly impressed at that. Let's go into our fan site news of the Chronicle. DDO Cast had episode 548, Past Life Prioritization, Heroic Lives, part 2. We got a shout out for our episode last week, Fridays on Ice, with Baklagor. Has episode 114, part 1. Apparently, it's so good, there's going to be 2 parts. I haven't watched it yet, so I have no idea why he's breaking it up into 2 parts, but good on Baklagor. Also, Doug Glendower is, of course, taking his Bard life. It's the Field Behind the Plow. Once again, I haven't watched this yet. I'm curious with that title to check that out. Streaming with Eben had her episode number 88, and Mickey's Delirium is rating in week 109. Craziness all around. And, of course, we have our Chronicle comments, which I have not even read this yet, so I'm going to have to come up with an answer on the fly. What magical device would be the most useful if you were stuck on an island?
Now, if I took your last comment literally, I would say a wand of flight.
Oh, yeah, see? There we go. Our Pine Leaf Logic reference in the show. So far, we're good all this year. If you're keeping track, Pine Leaf has to make at least one Pine Leaf Logic statement.
Yeah. So actually, before you said that on the fly bit, I was thinking a wand of teleportation instead, but same idea.
Okay, yeah. And I like Gum's answer in our chat. Gum's Gang is saying, I've been stuck on an island before. An endless bottle of good whiskey helps. Like where your head's at, Gumps.
All right.
I'm going to go for the easy answer. And say, well, I don't know if this would be considered a device, though. I was going to say a dimension door, maybe a wand of dimension door. There, I made it a device.
But wands of dimension door are only short. I thought dimension doors were only short ranged.
See, okay, 2 Pine Leaf Logic statements in one show. Now you're just showing off, Pine. Come on now. I tell you, folks. With that, we're just going to move right into the screenshot of the week. And that is Natham Dances Under the Moon in the 402nd DDO screenshot of the week. Congratulations to you, Psycho Blonde, for sending in that screenshot.
Is that person dancing on the moon or trying to toss the moon back and forth between her 2 hands?
You know, I kind of thought that too, because of the way it's framed, it looks like yeah. So I guess both. Cool
Playing
screenshot.
volleyball with the moon.
Yeah, exactly. School screenshot nonetheless. Good job, Psycho Blonde, for sending that in. And that is pretty much our Chronicle.
Then let's head into our store sales. And what's on sale this week? Anything nice?
Well, if you need to buy some adventure packs, 20% off select adventure packs. Quest XP Elixirs. And that runs through February the 21st. Also, the improved, heroic, and epic Autos boxes are back through February 17th.
Yippity-doo.
So, you know what this means. I can say it now. I've been waiting to say this. The McRib of DDO is back. Go now for your McRib of DDO. Then our weekly coupon will get you a bouquet of flowers. Aw, with the coupon code FLOWERS. And that's now through the 21st as well. And this weekend's bonus is bringing you DDO bonus days, 5% heroic and epic XP, now through the 17th. So you have the whole weekend to do that.
Then let's go and see what's coming in from the dungeon. Where things are getting stranger in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you know, everybody should have saw this coming, but everybody was kind of shocked at this. I mean, I was shocked at this, and then I'm like, why am I shocked at this? This is like a tie-in that needed to happen that I'm shocked hasn't happened yet. But yes, Hasbro actually is the one that announced this, because I found out today from my PR rep at WotC, this is actually going to be a Hasbro product They are handling all of this. It's a Dungeons and Dragons starter set that is Stranger Things themed. So if you are a fan of Stranger Things, you know, okay, and I'm going to throw this out, even though this was in season 1. If you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert, I'll just throw that out there. I'm sure everybody by now has seen Stranger Things season 1, but if you haven't, once again, spoiler alert. The very first episode starts out with the kids playing D&D. And of course, the monster they are facing in the adventure they are playing is the Demogorgon. And then that plays in the rest of the season, yada, yada, yada. Once again, spoilers. Sorry if you're whatever.
So is that why they have 2 Demogorgons figures?
Yes. Well, one of them is painted and one of them is not painted. So if you want to try your hand at painting, there you go. You have an unpainted and a painted Demogorgon. Also, this is going to feature the adventure that the boys were playing in Stranger Things Season 1. And it's going to have their character sheets all ready for you. So you can buy this box, play the characters from the show, the actual characters they were playing. Of course, they were playing First Edition, but that's besides the point. This is for 5th. It's also, besides the adventure and the character sheets, it's going to come with a rule book, the adventure book, and some game dice. And as you said, there's going to be 2 Demogorgon figures. One is going to be painted, and one you can customize, paint the way you want. This will be available soon. It looks like this is going to come out in May, and you can pre-order right now. The only place I've seen it available for pre-order is Amazon. I checked a couple different other web stores, and I haven't seen it yet, though by now I'm sure you can pre-order anywhere else. But I would suggest, if you want to get this now. The buzz and the hype around this is crazy. So I don't know how many of these Hasbro is going to make. I'm assuming they're going to make a ton of them. But you might want to pre-order as soon as you can, just to make sure that you get yourself a copy. Because I'm going to speculate on this. And I'm going to say, if you were smart, you might pick up 2 copies of this. And you might save 1 copy and not open it. And you might sell it on eBay a little later. And I bet you might make yourself a little money on it. Not that I'm saying that's right. Not that I'm saying...
Yeah, that sounds a little cheesy.
Not that I'm saying that's right. I'm just...
Because it's not.
It's not. Because I hate it when people do that, but I'm just saying. Just saying, if you would want to maybe do that. I may or may not be doing that myself, maybe. I don't know. That is pretty cheesy to do, but I kind of think the hype on this is going to be, so I don't know. I reached out to my WotC rep, actually, and that's who I found out from her that this is actually going to be a Hasbro product. Basically, the only reason why WotC is on there is just because it's D&D, which, makes sense. But Hasbro is actually the one that is doing this because they are the one that technically have the Stranger Things license to make games and stuff for Stranger Things. So I did reach out to Hasbro. I don't officially have a PR rep for them. Haven't really ever talked to anybody at Hasbro, but my WotC rep was so kind to give me a couple emails. So I did reach out to them. Haven't heard back yet, though, to see if this was going to be like a limited edition thing or they're just going to make a crap ton of these. But we'll see. But don't do what I said because that would be cheesy and that would be wrong to do that. But, just saying. This is cool. I'm excited about this, actually.
All right. Now, I was wondering if you remember the IP tie-in that they did with 3.0 for a starter set.
For the starter set? I guess I don't. What did they do? I guess I don't. What did they do for 3.0?
Yeah, 3.0. There was a special 3.0 starter set, Diablo themed.
I had no idea. How did I miss this?
No idea.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So this is not the first time they've done it then?
Yeah, it is not the first time that they've done it.
Well, I'm going to have to look into that Diablo starter set now.
I have a feeling it is probably... Well, well, the only place it's probably available is from someone who bought two copies way back when and is selling one on eBay.
Probably, which again would be
Probably,
wrong.
right?
I just did a quick Google search and I couldn't find it right off the top of my head, but we will talk about this next week. I will see if I can find that and see how much that is going for right now.
Then let's go and see what's on the table. Waterdeep, Dungeon of the Mad Mage board game coming from WizKids. I'm sure we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah, we did. They kind of teased it and they said they were making it, but they really didn't release a lot of information about it back then. So this is not really news per se. I mean, it kind of is because we did learn a little bit more new about it. But then again, this is from the everybody knew this was going to happen eventually because that's what WizKids do. They wait until D&D release their main storyline, and then they're like, hey, we're going to make an adventure system board game out of it. So WizKids did say about this: in the city of Waterdeep rests a tavern called the Yawning Portal. This is named after a gaping pit in the common room. At the bottom of this crumbling shaft is a labyrinth dungeon known as the Undermountain. It is the domain of the mad wizard Hallister Blackcloak, who has seeded his lair with monsters, traps, and mysteries. As an adventurer in Dungeons & Dragons Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage board game, that is a really long title, you will explore Undermountain in search for treasures while navigating numerous traps and ominous monsters. So if you are familiar with how the adventure system games play, pretty much going to play the same way. They did say there's a few new things. Players will now be able to get to level 4 with their characters and gain even more powers. So that's kind of cool. But then that would mean if you're getting to level 4, the monsters are going to get nastier, I would assume.
I would assume so, yes. I think it's because during that time, similar to what you do in some of the later ones, like the Temple of Elemental Evil or in Tomb of Annihilation, where you swap out some cards and you substitute other cards.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And just so you know, they have posted the rule book and the adventure book at their site.
Oh, did they? Well, I will have to go take a peek at those.
Yeah. So I took a peek at that, and I noticed that this particular version is not very friendly to going in as a single adventurer.
Even if you're playing two characters,
But no, as a single hero.
Oh, as a single hero.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yes, because usually the first adventure allows at least one hero, and the others, they say, well, yeah, we recommend 2 to 5, but if you really wanted to, you might be able to bring in one into it. This one, it looks like they say, oh, you want to play a solo? Oh, yeah, just play 2 characters or 3 if 3 is the minimum for that. I'm not feeling it. And I know a lot of people are excited about this 4-level thing. I think I'm the only person who isn't.
Really? See, that was like one of the main selling points to me about this. I'm like, oh, sweet, we can go to level 4. That's awesome. So why aren't you that excited about that?
Okay, so, I mean, so what? It's like, I guess.
Well, okay then.
I guess because I don't get it. I think my favorite one of all of them is Castle Ravenloft, which is the only one that has absolutely no type of campaign system in it.
Right.
So I tend to play them standalone. Even when I'm trying to play a campaign, sort of, I'm really playing the adventure standalone. So it's like, and this one isn't. And you're less inclined to have anything on the side of standalone adventures. In this one, it sounds like you can't. You'll probably have to cobble up something in order to play it standalone or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will probably tweak it somehow and make it easier. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I just had at least that's the feeling I've been getting on there. Now, I was wondering, what's so new about these environment cards you're talking about in here?
The only thing that I can think of, and I'm trying to remember in Tomb of Annihilation, if when you draw an environment card that it gets replaced when a new one is drawn. It's been a while since I played Tomb of Annihilation.
I know in Castle Ravenloft, their equivalent to it gets replaced.
Yeah, yeah. See, I think there's like a couple cards that will replace them, but normally I thought they stayed.
No,
but
no. At least in Castle Ravenloft, whenever you bring up a new one, the rule was the old one goes.
Well, then I don't know. I'm gonna have to reach out to WizKids and ask them because they stressed this was a new mechanic. And I thought too, I'm pretty sure this was done in other ones, but I don't know. I will reach out to my WizKids rep and see if they can give me a definitive answer on why this is new.
All right.
And then there's Bane Boon cards. Some effects will cause you to draw these cards, and then you will have to resolve the Bane or Boon effect. So in other words, those are the screw you over cards.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yes.
And of course, this is going to play similar with these few newish, I guess, because we're not sure about the environment cards. Little tweaks they're adding as pretty much like the other Adventure System board games, designed for 2 to 5 players. This is going to come out later this summer from WizKids.
Then let's go and see what's coming in on the screen. And it looks like it's Axis and Allies. It's getting a digital version. Ooh.
Yeah, and we kind of knew this was coming late last year. We talked about an interview that the WotC president had, and he kind of hinted, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We could do a digital version of Axis and Allies if we wanted to, wink, wink. So, he announced it without announcing it. Well, now it's official. The PC version of Axis and Allies will feature both single player against AI opponents and, of course, multiplayer mode, because what would Axis and Allies be without a multiplayer mode? It's going to include local hot seat play for up to 5 people, or you can do global matches over the net. Specifically, the Axis and Allies online version is going to be based on the second edition of Axis and Allies 1942 that came out in 2009 with several rules changes and tweaks. So, and I think from what I know, I'm not a big Axis and Allies player, but I do know a lot of people say if you're just going to play it for the first time, get the 1942 second edition. People really like what they did with the rules. They say it's easy. Well, as easy as it can be to get into Axis and Allies, this is the definitive version for a new player. I've read that more than once, so that's what they're basing the digital version on. This, of course, is coming from Beamdog. They are well known for their remastered versions of Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, and Planescape Torment. So this is in good hands. I'm pretty sure Beamdog could do this and do this right. If you're brand new to the long-running series, the app is going to include tutorials, an interactive game guide, as well as a feature only referred to as the War Diaries. I'm assuming that's going to be like an appendix explaining real-life history behind the games and everything, but I don't know. That's just my guess. They didn't really say that. They just said it's going to include the War Diaries. This is going to hit Steam in, you guessed it, early access soon, is all they said. So that means it's going to be in development as you're playing with it. It's going to cost you $20, so not real bad, I guess. That's not too bad. And there is a teaser trailer that, sorry, Beamdog, if you're listening to this, that teaser trailer was worthless. I don't even call that a teaser trailer. That's just like, hey, we're making this digital version of this game, and we're going to show you what the box cover of the game looks like. Yeah. I linked the teaser trailer in the article. There's really not much in it, but I'm pretty excited about this, though, even though I'm not a huge Axis and Allies player, but I think the main thing about this digital version, why I'm excited about it, is there'll be no setup involved, and you can play with AI, so you don't have to try to find a bunch of people to play with.
Okay.
I kind of hazard a guess you were excited about this. You will probably get this and play this, correct? Or am I wrong on that?
What, Axis and Allies?
Yeah. For some reason, I can imagine you being a big Axis and Allies fan, or maybe not.
I've never played it.
Really? Oh my God, you just blew my mind. This game screams you. This is like a Pine Leaf-centric game, and you've never played it. Wow. I've only played it a few times.
What? It's large scale and multiplayer.
Well, okay. True. But I thought maybe, back in the day you might have played it. But okay. Wow. Well, okay. I guess I am wrong, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Not the first time this has happened on the show. Probably won't be the last.
Then does that mean it's time for us to look into our week in gaming?
We can. And now on to you. What did you do this week?
What is that bad?
Yeah, dude. Let's just put it this way. My poor gaming PC is collecting dust because it never gets turned on.
Oh.
One of these days. I said this a couple weeks ago. One of these days, I'm going to sit and play some video games, and that will be a good day. But today or this week was not the day.
Oh boy.
At some point. Like it
didn't
has
help.
to get better at some point, right?
Yes. I suppose it did not help that the internet decided to...
Well, no. Because the night that we normally play, we actually weren't going to play anyway because we were going to do something else involving Lotro players, which that'll be coming soon. It's kind of been, I wanted you guys to tease it, and I really need to talk to you guys about how to tease something because Terry pretty much just announced what it was.
Yeah,
Not a tease per se. She kind of announced it, but yeah. We're gonna have, I guess I'll talk about it here too. So anybody, if you listen to Lotro Players, just act surprised when it's officially announced on Lotro Players. But yeah, we are working on a D&D type show where we are playing D&D, but of course we're using the Adventures in Middle Earth rule set to do that. And so far we've recorded, I think, 5 or 6 episodes. And
something like that.
Yeah, and there'll probably be about 2 more. And then that's going to be what we're going to call, quote, season 1, unquote. And then I'm going to get those edited, and we're going to start releasing them probably every other week, I'm thinking, is what we're going to do on that. And so you'll be able to check that out. It involves mainly all of the hosts on Lotro Players plus one other person, Greymaster, who I think he's written for Lotro Players before, and then he was involved in... when you guys did your other little D&D type show over on there that lasted for a little while. Was it Tales from the Free Folk? Is that what that
Something
one was
like
called?
that.
Yeah, he was the game master for that. I am the lore master. Is that what it's called in Adventures in Middle Earth? So yes, I am leading them through, and we're kind of loosely using the rules. I'm changing some of the rules because I don't like it. And we're going through one of the published adventures, kind of, but I'm adding on to it as well, and I'm adding my own stuff into it. And I've learned quickly I have to add stuff on the fly because they're an interesting group of players.
That's a bit of an understatement.
I thought my friends were bad to DM for. You guys give them a run for their money.
What?
So consider yourself lucky with that. Yeah. I think you guys are really going to enjoy the show. We'll probably talk about it over here too because it's D&D related as well. It's mainly for the Lotro players audience. That's our sister site. But since I'm actually the lead director of the Players Alliance, so I kind of oversee that site and DDO players. So there's kind of a lot of bleed through with our audiences. I know a lot of the people that listen to the show also listen to Lotro players, and I would say a good percentage of the people that play DDO probably either have played or play Lotro. So we kind of have a good bleed over in our audiences. So if not, you really don't have to be a player of Lotro or a fan of Lotro even to get into the show because it's really just a D&D play show. So it's interesting. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, we're gonna have about 8 or 9 episodes, something like that, in season 1, and we're gonna release them. I'm thinking every other week is how I'm gonna do it, so that will give us time to start recording, quote unquote, season 2 and get the others released. But anyway, yeah, that long sidebar there. I don't know how we got down that rabbit hole, but that is what we were going to do on Monday night instead of play DDO when Pine Leaf and I usually play. And yeah, I didn't have the internet. And it finally came back, but then by the time it came back, it was like too late to do anything. So alas, so that's why Pine Leaf and I didn't even play DDO. So yeah, I didn't do anything in gaming this week. And it looks like I'm kind of going to go out on a limb and say you were busy in the other Standing Stone game this week. That's why you don't have a lot of in your week of gaming this week.
Yes, I did quite a bit in the other Standing Stone game this week, I will have to admit. What I did do that's related to here is on my Dragonborn, my artificers there, I returned back to Barovia and attempted a raven as the door, and everything seemed to be going pretty well until I ran into the 3 witches.
Yeah, those can get tricky if you're not careful.
And those 3 witches are nasty.
Yes, they are.
Those 3 witches sent me back to the tavern.
Oh, wow.
Those 3 witches are meaning I'm going to have to find another time in which to play them so I could finally get by them.
Wow, they wiped you?
So in other words, that's all I managed to get through this week. It was the only time slot I had for DDO because the rest of the time I was, playing the other game, doing some skirmishes and the like. In Minecraft, I completed Mage Rage week 2. And the first week it took me about 2 hours, 20 minutes to do it. This time it took me 1 hour, 40 minutes. So I shaved off 40 minutes from my time, which is good. Maybe sometime in the future and someday I can get it under an hour. If I do that, I'll be really happy. But we will see. So that's the second week on Mage Rage, and we're currently alpha testing that to see how it goes because every week or so he's changing the spells that we have because in this you're playing a magic user who selects a set of 5 spells and he uses them in order to help you to collect 9 items as quickly as possible.
And do you have to...
Then in my Railroad series, I managed to start building a line over a swamp. So it's building a railroad over swampland. Oh, fun. But at least I am not constantly going up and down hills like I was when I was doing on the desert side, where it's like up this hill, down this hill, up this hill, down this hill. At least this area is mostly flat, which is a good change on that matter. And that's just about it. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice or be a guest host for an episode of DDO Player. This week we did not receive any reviews. We love your support, and we did not receive any emails either. If you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Dracula_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. And you could follow Drac on Twitch at Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance has 2 shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time via DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time via Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.